In the heart of New Mexico's desert, where the land is as unforgiving as the men who roam it, Calder Wyatt lived a life of solitude. His ranch was his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the memories of his family's tragic death at the hands of raiders years ago. A man of few words, Calder found solace in the endless horizon and the company of his horse. But on a day like any other, his quiet existence was about to be turned upside down. Calder rode through the scrubland, the sun scorching his weathered hat, his sharp blue eyes scanning the terrain for a stray calf. A faint, desperate cry pierced the silence. He urged his horse forward, following the sound to a clearing. There, beneath an ancient cottonwood tree, he saw her, a young woman, her wrists bound with coarse rope, hanging limply above her. Crude sign nailed into the bark read, "White man don't forgive." His breath caught. The sight stirred a fury in him, a memory of helplessness he'd buried deep. Without hesitation, he dismounted, drew his knife, and cut her down, catching her frail form as she collapsed. She was barely alive, her dark skin bruised, her black hair tangled. He lifted her onto his horse and rode hard for his ranch, determination etched into every line of his face. At his modest ranch house, Calder laid her gently on his cot. He fetched a basin of water and clean cloths, washing away the dirt and blood from her wounds with a tenderness that surprised even him. Her eyes fluttered open, briefly dark, wild, and full of fear before closing again. He spoke softly, "You're safe now," though he wasn't sure she could hear him. Days turned into a quiet routine. He fed her broth, changed her bandages, and watched as color returned to her cheeks. She remained silent, her gaze following him warily, but Calder was patient. He'd known loss. He understood the walls she'd built. Slowly, she began to eat on her own, a sign of trust flickering in her eyes. One afternoon, the girl stepped outside for the first time since her rescue. She knelt in the dusty yard and traced a symbol in the dirt with a sticker bird encircled by flames. Calder approached, curious. "What's that?" he asked, his voice gentle. "It's my family's sign," she replied softly. "A bird in fire, it means we rise from adversity." Her name, she said, was Ayana, but she allowed him to call her Lena. Then, haltingly, she told him her story. Her Apache family had lived peacefully until settlers blamed them for a murder they didn't commit. Soldiers attacked their camp, slaughtering her parents and siblings, leaving her to die as a brutal warning. Calder's jaw tightened as he listened. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice thick. "I know what it's like to lose everything. Raiders took my folks and my sister. I was too late to save them." Lena met his gaze, and in that shared sorrow, a bond took root. They weren't so different, two souls scarred by a harsh world. Weeks passed, and their connection grew. Lena began helping with small chores, feeding the chickens, mending a torn shirt, her presence filling the ranch with a warmth Calder hadn't known in years. They laughed over spilled water, shared quiet evenings by the fire, and found comfort in each other's company. One night, under a sky ablaze with stars, they sat close on the porch. Lena's hand brushed his, and he didn't pull away. She looked at him, her eyes soft, and he leaned in. Their lips met in a kiss tentative at first, then sure a promise forged in the stillness of the desert night. Their fragile peace shattered one morning when a cavalry soldier rode up, dust trailing behind him. Calder's heart pounded as he ushered Lena into the loft, hiding her beneath a pile of blankets. The soldier dismounted, his voice sharp. "We're hunting an escaped Apache girl. Murderer. Seen her." Calder stood firm on the porch, his expression unreadable. "No one's been around here but me." The soldier squinted, skeptical, but eventually nodded and rode off. Calder exhaled, but the knot in his chest remained. He knew this was just the beginning. Days later, 3 local men arrived on horseback, their faces hard with hate. Joe Prescott, a burly rancher with a makeshift badge, led them. "We know you've got her, Wyatt," Prescott barked. "That Apache killer. Hand her over, or we'll take her ourselves." Calder stepped forward, rifle resting casually in his hands but ready. "She's no killer. She's a victim, like too many others. And she's not here." Prescott sneered. "You're picking the wrong side, Calder. We'll be back with more men." The trio retreated, their threats hanging heavy in the air. Calder watched them go, knowing time was running out. Inside, Lena emerged from hiding, her face pale. "They'll never stop hunting me," she whispered, fear trembling in her voice. Calder took her hands, his grip steady. "Then we won't stay. We'll leave tonight, head north, find a place where we can live free." "But this is your home," she protested. "Home's where you're safe," he said, his eyes locked on hers. "And I'll keep you safe." That night, they packed what little they needed, clothes, food, a blanket, and saddled his horse. The ranch faded into the darkness behind them as they rode into the vast, uncertain desert. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, Lena glanced back once, then turned to Calder. "Thank you for believing in me," she said, her voice steady with gratitude and something deeper. He smiled, a rare softness in his rugged features. "Thank you for giving me a reason to believe again." They rode on, side by side, the horizon stretching endlessly before them. The world was harsh, but together they were stronger. Their love, born of compassion and forged in adversity, would carry them forward, a beacon in the wilderness.